Why do they call you Ogre?
Well, when the chain gang first started, there were 3 Joshuas, and they looked at us to give each other a nickname, and Rob said, the only one I can think of is Ogre. So it stuck.
So your name's Joshua?
Yes.
All right. Well, we'll be back in just a second. We're going to be talking about the 1-year anniversary of the tornadoes, which happened today, 1 year ago, which is why it's the 1-year anniversary.
Can't believe it's been a year already.
It's math. But when we come back, we're going to have Matt Carlson from the Long-Term Recovery Organization. He's going to be here. And we're also going to talk a bit with Ogre about the things that the Bradley County Chain Gang did last year and continues to do. So hang on, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. It's the break of dawn. We're tired.
Where's the coffee?
I don't know. There's no coffee, but it's time for the big news. The big news comes to you live from the Cleveland Daily Banner, your source for news here. I was trying to think of something nice to say, and I had nothing other than that, they're the source for news locally. So there you go. First up, the Ellis family recovery is going strong. David and Sherry Ellis, along with their 3 daughters, lost everything a year ago today, and their new home is finally finished, and life is starting to get back to the new normal.
That's what a lot of people are looking for, just normalcy after the storms hit.
That's right. We hear a lot of that word, the new normal. So I think maybe later we may pin Matt Carlson down and ask him just what that means when people say the new normal. Also, high bids force city schools to revisit plans. Apparently, the Cleveland Board of Education is going to have to revisit their plans for a new heating and air system for the east wing of Cleveland High School. They approved the project for about $300,000, and when they got all the bids back, the bids ranged from $323,000 to $376,000. So they're going to have to figure out what to do there. They're probably just going to pick one of those and go with it and have to revote. But
they're going to have to. I mean, if that's what it costs to have decent quality work, you got to pay it.
That's right. And nobody wants to sit in school and be hot. That's the worst. Scotty Mayfield's son charged with vandalism against U.S. Representative Chuck Fleischman's staffer. This one I like. So for those of you who haven't heard, Michael Mayfield, who is Scotty Mayfield's son, has been charged with vandalism under $500 in Kingston, Tennessee, after having cut the rear tire on the campaign manager of Chuck Fleischman's re-election campaign.
Keep in mind, though, we're not talking about a teenager.
No.
We're not talking early 20s. Middle-aged, 33 years old.
What is a 33-year-old doing still slicing tires so his dad can win the election?
That is some hardcore campaigning.
Yeah. Well, Scotty Mayfield, of course, says he didn't know anything about it, and maybe he it's very likely he didn't. His kid's 33 years old. Who thinks a 33-year-old is going to go slicing tires?
Hopefully not also living in the basement.
But Scotty Mayfield's apologized, and he's denounced the incident and said that his son is trying to get a hold of the right people to make a formal apology. So maybe that'll all get made right.
And the restitution of the tire.
That's right. So
I've got to take this next one.
All right, you have this one.
Swiss woman dies after attempting to live on nothing but sunlight. Swiss news agencies are reporting a woman starved to death after embarking on a spiritual diet that required her to stop eating anything, drinking anything, and live simply off sunlight.
Well, that's how Joe Palo lost all that weight. He went to an all tanning bed diet. You can tell too. Have you seen his latest infomercial?
Oh, it's awful. But I mean, I would like to know how much that spiritual experiment cost. I mean, is this for the everyday man or woman?
Clearly it costs a lot if she's dead.
Oh.
So I just think, At some point, here's the thing. At some point, you've not eaten for weeks. You've not drank water for weeks. You know, you're feeling weak. You're laying on the hill beneath the sun. It's hot. You're tired. You can't even sweat because you're so dehydrated. You're parched. Your lips are cracked. At some point, don't you go, maybe I should get some water?
Well, I mean, you've got chocolate, watches, neutralism, and now starvation of vitamin D.
At some point, you would think, though, that she would have paused and said, you know, maybe I've crossed the line here and should maybe get a Big Mac.
Yeah, at what point do you go, I missed the boat?
I don't know. So, all right, well, let's go on to Hollywood news. First up, this is the big news. Snooki is still pregnant. Smurfs 2 was just announced. That's going to come out July 31st of 2013. Did you like the first Smurfs movie?
Loved it. Being that I have 6 kids, I get to watch all the kid movies and have an excuse.
Really? You know, I got to tell you, my wife and I just watched the first Smurfs last week. I showed it to I've got a 2-year-old. And I didn't see it at the movie theaters because I thought it looked horrible. I mean, it looked awful.
Hank Azaria? Come on, you can't go wrong.
You know, don't say that. Remember, he was in Godzilla with Matthew Broderick.
Okay.
You can go wrong with Hank Azaria.
I take it back.
Having said that, though, Smurfs was actually pretty all right. You know, I wouldn't say that it was like the greatest kids movie I've ever seen.
No.
But it was good.
Worth a couple watches.
Yeah, and so somewhere the marketing failed that one, I think. But anyway, Smurfs 2 is coming out. Also, they've announced Skyfall, of course, is the new James Bond movie. We know that, but it's the 23rd James Bond film. And they have just announced that you a Bond fan?
Used to be, but Pierce Brosnan killed it.
Really?
Yeah.
I happen to like Daniel Craig quite a bit. So.
Daniel Craig is better, but you cannot beat the man.
Well, Bond 24, which is the one after Skyfall, has just been greenlit, and it's going to bring the franchise back to where they're making a new Bond film every other year. So they have put it on the schedule to be released in 2014. Now, the interesting thing about this, though, is that Daniel Craig only signed to make 3 movies. So after he makes Skyfall, he is not contractually obligated to make Bond 24. So there's a little bit of hesitation in what's going to happen there.
But if Skyfall does well, it could be a good chance for him to make a little bit more money.
Yeah. So I was just noticing how bright blue my shirt is on the TV.
It's fluorescent.
It's a little crazy. Rob's got an orange one that's like pumpkin. It's pretty obnoxious too.
This is his head.
Yeah. And then the last piece of news is that the Sci-Fi Channel has announced that they're making either a TV movie or a miniseries out of Stephen King's 1987 novel, The Eyes of the Dragon.
I'm excited.
That is my favorite Stephen King book.
Really?
It is.
Better than The Stand.
Yes. And
Wow.
The Stand is my second favorite, though,
Okay,
to be
fair
fair. But I really like The Eyes of the Dragon. It's so different from everything he's written. And it's just a different kind of book in general. Like, it's different than a lot of people would write. And I really like it. So when I heard this, I was very excited. Sci-fi movies are usually hit or miss, though, so that kind of leaves me a little worried. But I think we'll be all right, I hope.
You think he'll have any touch with it? He'll have any control, or is he just going to sell it?
Well, he typically has some control.
In his 2-minute roll.
Yeah, yeah. So last up is we're going to talk for just a quick second. You know, we noted that today is the 1-year anniversary of when the tornadoes hit our town. Isn't it weird to think that we have to say tornadoes, plural?
Not in this area. Born and raised, and it's never been an issue.
Yeah. Although down here, I should note down here, it's actually not tornadoes, it's tornadoes. But so
tornadoes.
Yin's Tornadoes came through here a year ago, and there's some anniversary things going on. So I'm going to just kind of quickly share for folks at home what's going on. There's a couple events that we're actually going to talk about with Matt when he comes on in a minute, so I'm going to skip those. But tonight at 5 o'clock, Rock the Relief 3 begins. That is the big rock concert. We talked about that here on the show a few weeks ago. It's being held out at Pappy's Place, which is where the Boogie at the Barn is always held, out at 185 Morgan Road in Charleston. You can find out more information about that at rocktherelieftn.com. But it's basically like a Tornado Palooza. It's like a little music festival. It lasts overnight. You can camp.
Tornado aid.
Yeah, tornado aid. At 8:30 tonight, the family of Evelyn Johnson. Evelyn was one of the folks who unfortunately passed away during the tornadoes last year. Her family is inviting the community to join them, as well as any families who've lost loved ones, to a very special memorial and remembrance service, and that is going to be out at Waterville Community Elementary School's track facility.
That should be nice.
Tomorrow, on Saturday, the Cleveland-Bradley County Day of Service happens. This is hosted by the Cleveland Cleanup and Cleveland Action Network, or CAN. Those two organizations are joining
Really?
They are joining forces to do a Cleveland cleanup, where they're going to go around and try and clean up things that all the official cleanup crews have kind of missed. The little things at empty lots and things like that still kind of remind us of what happened, that kind of are persistent to keep making us remember how awful that day was. Connie Wright is coordinating the event, and if you want to know more about that, they're meeting at 9 a.m. tomorrow at the Food Lion parking lot over on APD 40. Well, I guess it's the former Food Lion parking lot. They're not Food Lion anymore. But they are meeting there at 9 a.m. and we'll be handing out work assignments where people can go and join a crew and help clean something up, and they'll do that till about 4 o'clock. And First United Methodist Church is going to be offering babysitting for folks who want to come out and volunteer. So maybe you could take your 30 children to the First United Methodist Church and they'll watch them.
I'd probably have to pay.
But anyway, if you'd like to know more about that, you can call 423-599-0757, or you can go to www.cbcan.com. That's the Cleveland Action Network's website. Or you can just send an email to clevelandcleanup@gmail.com.
And that's for the cleanup efforts Saturday morning and also the daycare.
That's right. So that's kind of the end of our big news section. How you feeling about this? This is your first day as a host. What do you think?
I think I'm taking over. I'm joining it.
Yeah?
You put my name in the wood right there.
You're kind of like Rob, only
better looking.
Much more handsome. Yeah.
What can I say? It's the younger version. Yeah.
Yeah, more spry, strapping, I like to say. So, anyway, we'll be right back in a minute. We're going to have Matt Carlson here, and you guys should not go away.
I'm Wes Robbins with Landmark Insurance Brokerage. When it comes to employee benefits, we've got you covered. Call me today for the best service and best solutions to your group health and employee benefits needs. At Landmark Insurance Brokerage, we've got you covered.
Have annoying biting and stinging insects taken over your yard? Volunteer Rid-A-Pest can get it back. Make your yard a no-fly zone with Mosquito Guard. Volunteer Rid-A-Pest will eliminate these annoying pests, and you'll be able to work in your yard, have a pool party, a cookout, allow your children to play outside, or just sit outside and enjoy the evening. Volunteer Rid-A-Pest has developed an extremely effective treatment program that treats all shrubs, bushes, trees, and other foliage where mosquitoes and other biting, stinging insects live and breed. This material will not harm your plants or trees and leaves no harmful residue. This treatment program is safe for use around children and pets, but the best part is it's 100% guaranteed. If you are not 100% satisfied, Volunteer Rid-A-Pest will retreat for free until you are satisfied, or after 30 days, will cancel their agreement and refund 100% of your money. Give Volunteer Rid-A-Pest a call for a free no-obligation estimate. Phone 472-7736.
Discover great local programming right here on WTMB East Tennessee Television. Tune in weekday mornings at 6:30 a.m. for Tennessee Valley This Morning to find out what's going on in your local area. Watch East Tennessee Shopper with Joe and Kim Palo live every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. Be caught up in all the latest sports action. Watch In the Spotlight with Brittany Jackson Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. with replays at midnight. All this and more on WTNB East Tennessee Television.
Have you ever thought about a career in television broadcast sales? Well, if so, WTNB might just be the place for you.
We're looking for a person that is self-motivated and energetic to join the WTNB family as a broadcast salesperson.
If that sounds like you, give us a call at area code 423-472-8892 or email us at joe@wtnbtv.net or kim@wtnbtv.net. We look forward to hearing from you, and let's get started today.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dennis Ford, board certified in anti-aging medicine and pain management. Have you had recent decrease in energy, lack of sex drive, feel moody, grumpy, or sad? If so, you may have low testosterone and be a candidate for bioidentical hormone replacement. Listen to what two of my patients have to say.
Before I came to the Ford Clinic, I had to have a nap every day.
When I got off work, I'd lay around, really didn't want to do much and felt real lazy.
I've noticed since I had the testosterone implant that I could go a good 8 hours doing the things I enjoy doing.
I had it done, it took about 25, 30 minutes, 5 months, and I'm doing good. My stomach, my muscles, they've completely changed. My fat level has dropped. I get to go out and run, exercise with my son. My muscles are just getting stronger.
If you'd like to change your life, please call me at Ford Center for Pain Management and Anti-Aging Medicine at 423-400-9115.
It's a very simple process, and it's well worth it.
Still on that one.
Welcome back to Tennessee Valley this morning. I am Ryan Farcelli, or the Hollywood Slinky. Sitting next to me is Ogre, large as life, bigger than death.
I'll take it.
And joining us this morning is Matt Carlson. Welcome, Matt.
It's good to be here.
Good morning.
I just called you a welcome, Matt. That seemed rude.
That
didn't
was,
it?
but we'll just go on.
We
Let's
just
move
walk
on
all
from
over,
that.
Matt.
Exactly.
Well, Matt, you are the chairman of the Long-Term Recovery Organization, correct?
Correct. I'm on the board of directors, co-chair of that with Jake Stum, and it's just something that we've, the Long-Term Recovery Organization has been here for almost a year. It was established basically by the end of May last year when we realized that there was going to be long-term projects that we needed to complete as a community.
Right.
And so the Long-Term Recovery Organization was started.
So what sort of long-term projects do you guys tackle?
A lot of housing projects,
Sure.
repair projects, roofs, full builds for families that have lost everything, and anything all the way down to if somebody needs a couch or kitchen appliances. So
I could use a new dishwasher. I mean, I can't say that it's tornado damaged, but I can say that I need one.
So in essence, for families like you, we actually put some regulations in place, so just not anybody could come in. But seriously, anybody that had a damage, that lost things, could go through the Long-Term Recovery Organization if they didn't have the funding to replace it themselves or if they didn't have insurance. They were able to go through the LTRO, and we've actually had about, I think, 128 cases come through the Long-Term Recovery Organization. If they didn't get enough FEMA money or not enough insurance money, we're able to help with unmet needs, again, all the way from, a dishwasher or a couch all the way up to a home.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Did you find yourself surprised at all at how many people either didn't have insurance or weren't covered enough? I mean, because I know that, like, for me, my house was damaged some. We've talked a little bit about that on the show. The tornado went over my neighbor's house. It leapt over us. We were very lucky. I'm over in the Twin Oaks subdivision, so I can see where there are houses no more from my back porch. Like it was that close, and and I know living right in the heart of that and hearing from people around me and stuff. I know that I was very surprised just how many people didn't have insurance. They'd paid their house off, they'd retired, or they didn't, and they just never felt that they needed it.
Yeah, well, there were some situations like that, more situations of being underinsured than being uninsured altogether. But when FEMA came in, they actually said we were going to have more cases like that, and they came back after we did a study, and Cleveland and the Bradley County was actually one of the most insured areas of all the places that got hit by tornadoes.
Really?
We were actually blessed from that aspect. There were some cases of folks being uninsured or underinsured, but we were actually surprised that there weren't as much as what we saw. So, and that's why in the year that's passed, we've been able to do so much with the community and help out those that really have those needs. And for the most part, a lot of families were taken care of by insurance companies. You hear a lot of horror stories, and you did hear a few stories about working with insurance companies, but for the most part, we heard a lot of really good stories too about insurance companies stepping up to the plate and working with families and getting them back into their homes.
Yeah. I had a little bit of trouble with my insurance. I'm not going to talk about who I'm insured with, but I had a little bit of trouble with mine getting things sorted at first. Because a lot of times they bring in, they have disaster people that come in, and so you're not dealing with your local agent or a local appraiser or anything like that. You're dealing with a guy who just goes from disaster to disaster, and so there was some confusion in that process getting set up and things. That was very frustrating at first, but once that was worked out, I had great, really, really great, service.
We heard a lot of stories about that, so that was good to hear.
Yeah. Well, you guys have some projects for the tornado coming up. There's not a tornado coming up. The tornado's already been here. But you have some projects kind of going on to commemorate the tornado going on, today at lunch. Why don't you talk so I don't have to? Because I can't.
Well, today is basically your anniversary from the storms. Everybody knows that. And this community was so impacted. The DNA of this community changed when those storms came through. And so today is a day of remembrance and respect for what we lost, but also a day of celebration to celebrate all the different groups, individuals, churches, businesses that really stepped up to the plate and really went above and beyond to help their neighbor. And that's what is so awesome about this community, is that everybody here really helped their neighbor. I mean, the day after storms, they were outside checking on their neighbors and walking down the street, making sure that everybody was getting helped. And that's what we can celebrate, is the fact that you brought up the new normal you were talking about earlier. Cleveland will never be the way it was, but we can make it better, and that's what we've been striving to do. And that's what that new normal means, is that we're striving to make this a stronger place. As we move forward, we can never go back to the way we were. But there's a lot of opportunity and promise for just the generosity in the community, what people are able to do. So today at 11:30, there's a volunteer appreciation luncheon for a lot of the groups that came out and did a lot of work, and that's going to be at Life Care Centers. And then at 4 o'clock, we're dedicating another home for the Yarber family. We've had a lot of dedications this spring, and now it's for the Yarber family. That'll be at 4 p.m. this afternoon out on Lead Mine Valley Road. The Men and Women of Action were the ones that were the lead project builders on this one, and we've had quite a few organizations come out, but that'll be at 4 o'clock. And then tonight at 7, it's the Restoration Celebration at the Conn Center at Lee University. Cleveland Net is the main sponsor for this, and it's a worship service basically to, again, remember what the community's been through and what families have been through, but also a celebration to see how far and really just to praise how far we've come.
So that's really the big public event that you guys are doing is tonight at 7 at the Conn Center.
Yeah.
So what will happen there? Is it just mostly just going to be worships?
Praise and worship service. Some representatives that will come and talk for a few minutes, but more of it's just time to get together, and also very moved by the 8:30 candlelight service that the Johnsons are doing at Waterville Elementary. That's open to the community, and that'll, you don't know what to expect, but just to go out and really just as a community come together and pay respects and remember what we did lose, in the storms last year.
Yeah. Where were you when the tornadoes hit?
I was in my basement with my family, and I was texting back and forth with some folks. I'd lost power, I lost the TV, I didn't have a weather radio, so I had some friends of mine that were texting us, telling us where the storms were at. And so we had, with Habitat, my full-time job was Habitat for Humanity. We had to shut down the offices and I'd gone home to be with my family, and we really, just really buttoned down the hatches and tried to make it through the night. And, we were getting worried because we were losing, of course, we lost all the power, but then my phone was going dead because we were talking to folks so much. But, we were very fortunate not to have a major damage to our home. Our roof was hit, but everybody was safe. And everybody has their own story of what they went through that day, and everybody can remember exactly what it was they were doing.
Sure.
And it's just it speaks to the powerful impact that day had on everybody. And getting up the next morning, and I was trying to get to a friend's house to help them. They needed a generator and a chainsaw, and I couldn't even get within half a mile of where they were at off of Durkee Road because there was so much damage, But then I went and helped somebody else. So it was just everybody has a story of what they went through and just the impact it had on their family. So, but we were fortunate that nobody in our family got hurt, and our home for the most part was okay.
Sure.
Amen.
Would you like to ask him a question, Ogre?
I was wondering if you were going to breathe there for a moment. Whew. Let's see. What has been the most rewarding part for you personally in the long-term cleanup efforts?
Seeing so many different people come together to make a difference. I mean, literally, to see different organizations that may have not worked together before, literally just say, let's just do whatever it takes to get it done. So, putting a tarp on a roof, or sitting down with a family and just talking them through a situation, or building a porch, that had been torn away from a home. And when you see in somebody's eyes, they come and they see this group of folks that they don't know, that is working hard in their home just to bless them, and you see tears come to people's eyes. And it's not just the family that's getting helped; it's the volunteers that are there, doing what they do. And so just that aspect of seeing so many different people coming together that you'd never seen together before, and really true collaboration. There was a spirit of generosity and collaboration that I've never seen in the community before. I mean, it's a generous community, but when something like that happened, the community literally came together, and you saw folks taking the shirts off their backs literally to help their neighbor. And that, to me, that's just the most special thing you can see, feel, be a part of. If it's a chainsaw, or if it's a Band-Aid, or if it's a drink of water, just people coming together and building relationships and just collaboration.
So what happens now? The long-term recovery organization, I mean, we've formed this board of individuals to sort of help manage the recovery efforts, basically. And a lot of people might be surprised that a year later that there's still all of this work to be done, and there's probably more work than people realize to be done.
There's still work that's going on. In fact, when FEMA was here and they were telling when we were getting the long-term recovery organization established, they said it would actually probably be 3 to 5 years, and we think we'll be done long before then, just because of how much the community has stepped up to the plate and really wanted to be a part of these efforts. There's still work that needs to be done. We're still doing projects. We have a couple other houses that are under construction. We have repair projects that are going on. And one of the issues that we're starting to talk about now are abandoned properties, homes that are abandoned. What do we do with those? What does the county do? Does the long-term recovery have a part in that process? So there's still work to do. So we still need groups. We still need volunteers. We still need funding. But I would say, you're going to see a point when we're done with the work, hopefully. And there's a deadline. I believe May 1st is the deadline for new cases, for families to come forward to say we need help from last year's storms. Right. Now, March 2nd, again, it was another, the storms of this March 2nd.
Have you guys enveloped that?
We've opened our doors to those folks. So if people got hit March 2nd and need help, they need to be able to come and say, hey, we need help from those storms. So. There was much less damage. There was a lot less families impacted by those storms. So that'll be something that we'll move through pretty quickly.
So it's probably not a lot of extra effort for you guys to just sort of absorb that into what you're doing.
So.
Well, you have some exciting stuff coming up. You were telling us earlier, before we came on the air, you were telling us that you guys are doing something called a blitz build.
Oh, we are with the Kauai Region Builders Association. We're actually blitz building.
It's hard to say.
Yeah, no. I'm going to say it 10 times fast.
See, you guys make fun of me because I'm the bad host.
We're actually with the Builder Association. We're blitz building 4 homes. 3 of those are going to be started May 14th. We're doing a 3-day blitz build to get them under roof. And we have so many organizations that have really stepped forward to be a part of that. The main organization is the Builder Association. Cleveland State has stepped forward with funding and volunteers. We have a lot of different vendors and subcontractors that are really stepping up to the plate. Roofers, framers, heat and air guys, electricians, plumbers that are donating their time and or efforts. Cleveland Plywood, Ferguson's, Wholesale Supply, a lot of different organizations that are really stepping up to the plate and saying, hey, we're going to discount materials, donate materials, donate labor. And the fun part is going to be 17th, 18th, and 19th. We're kicking it off May 17th and doing that 3-day blitz build, and then we'll have the houses finished in June. So that's going to be a fun blitz build.
So the 3-day blitz build means what?
We start with a foundation Thursday morning, and we have them under roof Saturday afternoon.
Man.
So.
And I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
So if you want to work next to this guy,
Yeah.
show up. We'll need your help.
If you're feeling like you may be a little overweight, you go stand next to this man, and you will not feel so large. You're a large.
I don't know how I should take that.
Take that like me saying that you are a large man.
Yeah. Larger than life.
I'm just
That's the way you
I'm
take
only
it, you know?
13. I just have a pituitary disorder.
Hey, they say that you can still continue with teenage pranks at least until you're 33.
Oh, really?
I've heard that.
So you better look at your back tires when you leave
I
tonight.
know, I may have some trouble. So, all right, well, is there anything else that you'd like to share with us about what you guys are doing? This is the open platform moment for you.
Oh, wow. Well, basically, it's just Cleveland's a wonderful place to live and get involved. There's so many organizations that you can get plugged into. The LTRO and Habitat are just two of those. But, I love living here. I've been here for 15 years now, and it's home, and so it's there's so many ways for people to do service in the community, get involved, and get to know their neighbors. And that's when you feel like you have purpose in life.
Can people get in contact with the Long-Term Recovery Organization for volunteerism?
Oh, definitely they can. They would call Jim Polier or Lisa Mantooth, and I did not bring that phone number with me, so that's the worst thing I can do. So they can call me at Habitat for Humanity to get involved, and we can plug them in where they want to go.
Sure. Okay. You guys, does the LTRO have a website?
They do. I didn't bring that material with me, so I've been busy working on the construction site.
That's all right.
I'm sorry. So I did not come. So they could actually get a hold of United Way. Actually, call the United Way offices because the LTRO is established at United Way. Their offices are at the United Way building. United Way was kind enough to say, hey, we have some extra space. Let's get these folks in, and that's where we'll do the work from. So they could call the United Way office and get plugged in.
All right. Well, before we go, we always ask our guests 4 questions.
Okay.
So we believe that you can find out everything you need to know about a person by asking these 4 questions.
Great. Good.
So question number 1.
Okay.
What is your favorite movie of all time?
Casablanca.
That's a good one.
Nice.
All right. Question 2.
Classic.
What movie do you think is the best movie ever made?
Wow. Star Wars.
Which one?
The first one.
All right.
Yeah.
What movie?
4 for clarification.
Right. What movie have you seen more times than any other?
Dumb and Dumber. And I'm waiting for the sequel to come out. So, yeah.
You've heard they're about to
yes.
do one.
Yes,
Dumb and Dumber.
Yes.
Well, no,
Yeah.
they're doing an
The
actual real sequel with Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels coming back.
So this one should actually be good. That Dumb and Dumber or whatever
I thought that had already
whatever
come
that
out,
was.
but I wasn't going to
yeah.
speak up.
Yeah. All right, and then the last question is, what do you think is the funniest movie ever made?
Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh my gosh, you just made my wife so happy right now. She loves that movie, and in fact, she actually likes the sequel more.
Really?
Have you seen the sequel?
I've seen the sequel, but man, the first one was the original was awesome.
They're both really
good.
funny.
They're both good.
She just likes when he starts dancing.
Oh yeah, totally. Yep. Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Matt. We really appreciate you coming by.
It was good to be here. Nice to meet you.
Everybody can get a hold of them to learn to volunteer at either United Way or Habitat for Humanity, and they can hook you up with the LTRO. And stick around. We'll be right back. Honest.
Have you ever thought about a career in television broadcast sales? Well, if so, WTMB might just be the place for you.
We're looking for a person that is self-motivated and energetic to join the WTMB family as a broadcast salesperson.
If that sounds like you, give us a call at area code 423-472-8892 or email us at joe@wtmbtv.net or kim@wtmbtv.net. We look forward to hearing from you, and let's get started today. Have annoying biting and stinging insects taken over your yard? Volunteer Ritapest can get it back. Make your yard a no-fly zone with Mosquito Guard. Volunteer Ritapest will eliminate these annoying pests, and you'll be able to work in your yard Have a pool party, a cookout. Allow your children to play outside or just sit outside and enjoy the evening. Volunteer Ridipest has developed an extremely effective treatment program that treats all shrubs, bushes, trees, and other foliage where mosquitoes and other biting, stinging insects live and breed. This material will not harm your plants or trees and leaves no harmful residue. This treatment program is safe for use around children and pets, but the best part is it's 100% guaranteed. If you are not 100% satisfied, Volunteer Ridipest will retreat for free until you are satisfied, or after 30 days, will cancel their agreement and refund 100% of your money. Give Volunteer Ridipest a call for a free no-obligation estimate. Phone 472-7736.
Discover great local programming right here on WTMB East Tennessee Television. Tune in weekday mornings at 6:30 a.m. for Tennessee Valley This Morning to find out what's going on in your local area. Watch East Tennessee Shopper with Joe and Kim Palo live every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. Get caught up in all the latest sports action. Watch In the Spotlight with Brittany Jackson Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. with replays at midnight. All this and more on WTMB East Tennessee Television.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dennis Ford, board certified in anti-aging medicine and pain management. Have you had recent decrease in energy, lack of sex drive, feel moody, grumpy, or sad? If so, you may have low testosterone and be a candidate for bioidentical hormone replacement. Listen to what two of my patients have to say.
Before I came to the Ford Clinic, I had to have a nap every day.
When I got off work, I'd lay around, really didn't want to do much, and felt real lazy.
I've noticed since I had the testosterone implant that I can go a good 8 hours doing the things I enjoy doing.
I had it done, it took about 25-30 minutes, 5 months, and I'm doing good. My stomach, my muscles, they've completely changed. My fat level has dropped. Get to go out and run, exercise with my son. My muscles are just getting stronger.
If you'd like to change your life, please call me at Ford Center for Pain Management and Anti-Aging Medicine at 423-400-9115.
Very simple process, and it's well worth it.
I'm Wes Robbins with Landmark Insurance Brokerage. When it comes to employee benefits, we've got you covered. Call me today for the best service and best solutions to your group health and employee benefits needs. At Landmark Insurance Brokerage, we've got you covered.
I'm over here.
And I'm still here.
That's crazy. Welcome back to Tennessee Valley This Morning. I'm the Hollywood Slinky, and joining me now is my next guest, who is no longer my co-host.
I was demoted.
This is Ogre. For those of you who don't remember him from earlier segments, his name is Ogre. So anyway, Ogre is actually here today because today is, of course, the 1-year anniversary of when the tornadoes came through and devastated Cleveland. But specifically, Ogre was a member of the Bradley County Chain Gang. So Ogre, why don't you tell us, what is the Bradley County Chain Gang?
It is a group of essentially white-collar guys who answered the call when the Lord gave them the strength and the call to come out and help their fellow men. It was the morning after Rob Alderman. We all know Rob.
Who?
Rob Alderman.
Yeah.
Little guy, doesn't talk a lot.
Not familiar with him.
Maybe that's not him. Sent out a call saying, every able-bodied man, I expect you to be there first thing in the morning. Myself and several others showed up, and it was long days, long weekends, hours and hours and hours of helping people and leaving every time with a smile on your face. There was blood, sweat, and tears left behind everywhere we went. It's incredible, but it's just a great group of guys. I'm in insurance. Ryan, your AV.
Public relations.
Yeah. Sorry. Rob was the director of PR for Life Care. Paul Garner is director of AV for Life Care. JP is a nurse. It's just a bunch of white-collar guys that said, time to get doing. And we did.
So basically, you guys saw that there was a need to cut trees, and you went for it. So you started with one chainsaw. How many did you end up with? Do you know?
I believe we're at 14 now. We have the original home light. I believe it's about bit the dust. It was the one Rob bought to get you out of your house, actually.
Right.
He was the founder of the feast, so to speak. And then a very nice gentleman, I'm sorry, his name escapes me at the moment, but he flew up here from Atlanta, asked us what we needed, and we said real chainsaws, fuel, and he came back with 3 Ryobi chainsaws. And then through donations of, funds and chainsaws themselves, we have, I think, half a dozen steel saws, home light, Ryobis, Pollen Pros. We have a plethora of blades.
Well, a lot of people don't realize this, but the day after the tornadoes, you couldn't buy a chainsaw in Cleveland.
No.
Chainsaws aren't something that stores carry a lot of because they don't sell a lot. And the day after, there were trees down on everybody's houses all over this side of town, that side of town, and everybody ran straight to the stores to buy chainsaws, and they sold out very quickly.
Very quickly.
So this guy who came up in the airplane was kind of a little bit of he was the chainsaw savior.
He was a godsend, most definitely. And we went from 1 to 4, and every time we go somewhere within a few hours, we'd meet up with somebody else that had a chainsaw, and they would group up with us. And it was amazing, to say the least. I mean, like I said before, long hours. In the summer, it got real hot. Nobody complained. 100% voluntary. You showed up or didn't show up, we said thank you and kept moving forward.
So how did you guys figure out where to go at first? We're looking at some pictures right now. That's the chainsaws, right?
That's some of them.
And this is a tree that went straight through a trailer.
It divided it in half.
Yeah.
There's Johnny, I believe.
Johnny Evans from Lee University.
Yeah, which one I didn't mention. He's actually a professor.
That's Paul Garner.
Yep.
That is a big tree.
That was a massive tree really close to your house.
Yep.
And let's see, there's Dusty Strickland on the right, which is a teacher. Like I said, a bunch of white-collar guys. No, we're not in the trade or anything like that.
That tree there is actually the tree. Now, this photo is Joplin, Missouri. That's something else that I'd like to talk about for just a minute. Look at the size of that tree.
That right there is a 135-year-old red oak that Johnny Evans right there took down with an 18-inch Husqvarna saw. The man is amazing.
Well, a lot of there's a couple of shots in there of Joplin, which they of course were struck by some. There you are,
that handsome guy.
He is handsome.
Woo!
Wow.
He is nowhere.
But the chain gang actually did such an incredible job here in Cleveland with the way they first responded to people who had trees on their houses, that when Joplin was hit by tornadoes just a few weeks later, the folks in Joplin called here and asked for the chain gang to go.
Asked specifically for the chain gang. I unfortunately was not able to go. We were expecting the birth of my 6th child. Beautiful baby boy, healthy as could be. But they have gone twice, actually. And when they went the first time, obviously it was chickens with their head cut off. Lots of groups wanting to help, lots of teams coming out. Got organized a lot faster in Cleveland, I'll give it that. And the second time they went in, Rob Alderman showed his face. They went straight to the director, and the director said, "This is where we need you." So, an amazing group effort by JP, Paul, Johnny, Rob, all the guys who went.
It's pretty awesome to know that you did such a great job locally that when a disaster hits somewhere else, the first thing they do is they call you.
Please come.
So that's pretty great. So what sort of challenges did you guys encounter? I mean, obviously there was a need for equipment and for gas. You guys were hauling large trucks to haul equipment, and they were all, burning through gas quite a bit. But what kind of other challenges did you run into as far as like when you went in, you rolled into a neighborhood and what was it like?
Almost to an extent, words are difficult to describe.
But that makes terrible television.
I'm going to try. I'm going to do my best effort. You've got trees down, homes destroyed, live wires laying everywhere, baby pictures. One of the darkest things I saw was a child's backpack, probably 40 feet in a tree, which I still have pictures of. Just desecration and people looking up at you going, "Are you here to help me? Or are you here to..." I'm sorry to scam me. It did happen. But the challenges we first ran into were fuel, equipment, and getting to them. Cutting roads clear to get emergency workers to the people who needed their help. Working around live wires laying on the ground and power workers a mile away from you with 2 days worth of work there before they can get to where you are. Later on, maybe a few weeks after, the heat, dehydration, but I want to give a shout out to the Baptist Association. They helped us a lot with water, keeping things organized, letting us know where we're needed next. Heat, live wires, difficulty getting to the areas. The worst injury anybody occurred was scratches on the legs. I will say that. We got a few scuffs, but nobody lost any appendages. Everybody came out safe.
That's great. You know, chainsaws are a lot more dangerous than people realize.
Oh, you have no idea. Thankfully, we had a lot of Kevlar chaps donated to us, and they did save some legs for Johnny, Paul, and Dave, Paul's twin brother. They would get a kick back and slap him in the leg, and you might have a bruise, but you still have a leg.
Right. Yeah, that's incredible. So are you guys still cutting today, a year later?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Matt's estimate, or FEMA's estimate, Matt pointed on for 3 to 5 years cleanup. In total, I wouldn't be surprised if it took that long, but for the majority to somewhat get Cleveland looking like Cleveland used to be, I say probably another year. It's solid.
Just if people want to help you guys, do you still take help?
Oh, absolutely. We'll take funds obviously for gas. Gas is going.
You guys prefer gas cards though, right?
Yes. BP, Shell, Walmart. It doesn't matter. Gas burns the same.
Right. The nice thing about gas cards is there's no cash involved, so you know where your help is going. If somebody donates that,
Yeah, and it's all. We actually have it through the
Men and Women of Action.
Yes, they have helped us a lot with organizing funds and bank accounts and stuff like that. So we pretty much just say we need $50 for gas.
Right.
We're on Facebook, Bradley County, Tennessee Chain Gang on Facebook. You can get a hold of us through Bradley Emergency Rescue Teams, Baptist Association, United Way. Pretty much any long-term effort can get a hold of us. You probably have our direct cell phone numbers.
That's awesome. Well, let me ask you this. What is your favorite movie?
That's so easy. Tombstone. Val Kilmer and Kurt Russell. I could watch it every day for the rest of my life.
All right. What do you think is the best movie ever made?
Tombstone. I own 3 copies of it.
What movie have you seen more times than any other?
Tombstone.
All right. Surely this one will be different. What do you think is the funniest movie ever made?
The Mario Brothers with John Leguizamo.
Really?
That's just so full of cheese. It's so much fun.
That's interesting. All right. Well, you're kind of resemble King Koopa a little bit.
I don't have the fundage though, or the manpower.
I'm sorry, Ogre, but your princess is in another castle. We'll be right back with the preview review. Don't go away on Tennessee Valley This Morning.
Have you ever thought about a career in television broadcast sales? Well, if so, WTMB might just be the place for you.
We're looking for a person that is self-motivated and energetic to join the WTMB family as a broadcast salesperson.
If that sounds like you, give us a call at area code 423-472-8892 or email us at joe@wtmbtv.net or kim@wtmbtv.net. We look forward to hearing from you, and let's get started today.
I'm Kathy Guy with Landmark Insurance Brokerage. Call us today for all your personal insurance needs. With 28 years in the insurance business, I have the solutions and pricing you are looking for. At Landmark Insurance Brokerage, we've got you covered.
Discover great local programming right here on WTMB East Tennessee Television. Tune in weekday mornings at 6:30 a.m. for Tennessee Valley This Morning to find out what's going on in your local area. Watch East Tennessee Shopper with Joe and Kim Palo live every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. Get caught up in all the latest sports action. Watch In the Spotlight with Brittany Jackson Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. with replays at midnight. All this and more on WTNB East Tennessee Television.
Have annoying biting and stinging insects taken over your yard? Volunteer Ridipest can get it back. Make your yard a no-fly zone with Mosquito Guard. Volunteer Ridipest will eliminate these annoying pests, and you'll be able to work in your yard, have a pool party, a cookout, allow your children to play outside, or just sit outside and enjoy the evening. Volunteer Ridipest has developed an extremely effective treatment program that treats all shrubs, bushes, trees, and other foliage where mosquitoes and other biting, stinging insects live and breed. This material will not harm your plants or trees and leaves no harmful residue. This treatment program is safe for use around children and pets, but the best part is it's 100% guaranteed. If you are not 100% satisfied, Volunteer Ridipest will retreat for free until you are satisfied, or after 30 days, will cancel their agreement and refund 100% of your money. Give Volunteer Ridipest a call for a free no-obligation estimate. Phone 472-7736.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dennis Ford, board certified in anti-aging medicine and pain management. Have you had recent decrease in energy, lack of sex drive, feel moody, grumpy, or sad? If so, you may have low testosterone and be a candidate for bioidentical hormone replacement. Listen to what two of my patients have to say.
Before I came to the Ford Clinic, I had to have a nap every day.
When I got off work, I'd lay around, really didn't want to do much, and felt real lazy.
I've noticed since I had the testosterone implant that I could go a good 8 hours doing the things I enjoy doing.
I had it done, it took about 25-30 minutes, 5 months, and I'm doing good. My stomach, my muscles, they've completely changed. My fat level has dropped. Get to go out and run, exercise with my son. My muscles are just getting stronger.
If you'd like to change your life, please call me at Ford Center for Pain Management and Anti-Aging Medicine at 423-400-9115.
It's a very simple process, and it's well worth it.
Welcome back to Tennessee Valley this morning.
Too loud, too early.
Wake up. We are now going to do the preview view. This is where Ogre and I are going to tell you all about the movies that start today and if you should see them or not. And we haven't seen them, but we are opinionated enough to tell you if you should see them or not, simply based on the previews and the commercials and everything we've read online. So are you ready to go?
Yeah, we're on TV, so you should listen to us.
That's right. If it's on TV, it's true.
It has to be true.
That's right. Well, we're going to start with The Raven. This is John Cusack's new movie. It also stars Alice Eve and Luke Evans, which is Chris Evans, who is Captain America. It's his younger brother.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just making it up. But if it's on TV, you heard it here first. And if it is true, you could tell your friends. I heard that on Tennessee Valley this morning.
Hear, hear.
And if it's not true, you read it in the banner. This is directed by the guy who directed V for Vendetta. And basically the plot is that a madman begins committing these horrific murders that are inspired by Edgar Allan Poe's works. And so a young Baltimore detective joins forces with Edgar Allan Poe to stop him from making his stories a reality. John Cusack's playing Edgar Allan Poe and lost a bunch of weight to play the part, but I don't think he looks any different. What do you think of this one?
It was a great idea. I love the concept. Never
Really?
been,
You like this concept?
Oh yeah, with Poe. I'm a Poe fan.
Really?
But
I see. I would have expected you to have been like, I'm a Poe fan, but you'd be talking about Kung Fu Panda.
really,
Really?
just
saying.
never been a Cusack fan. Joan or John. Kadoosh. I don't see him pulling off this role. I think, you step into a puddle of the guy and not get your shoe wet. But I will watch it at least once.
So what do you think, great or hate?
Hate.
All right, I'm actually going to hate this too, but I'm hating it because I don't like the concept. It just does nothing for me. It's a boring time of history. Like, it's a period film, and it's kind of a boring period. You know, you have trouble on film even making Jack the Ripper exciting. How are you going to make an author exciting? I just,
Not with John Cusack.
Yeah, it's not for me. So I'm going to hate this one also. So moving right along. Goodbye, The Raven. Nevermore. Next up is, that's like the joke that every critic is making on right now.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, Nevermore. Whatever. Next up, The Pirates, Band of Misfits. This one stars the voices of Hugh Grant, Selma Hayek, Jeremy Piven, and a bunch of other famous people. This is about a pirate captain who sets out on a mission to defeat his rivals so that he can win the Pirate of the Year award.
It's intense.
Yeah. This is a claymation film like from the guys who did Wallace and Gromit.
Very Wallace and Gromit film.
So how do we feel about that?
I think it's going to be a big hit with the kids.
Yeah.
So, of course, I'll watch it. Not excited about this one, but I'm hoping there's some quirk to it.
Yeah. Do you know, have you seen, I've not noticed in any of the trailers, but is there like a talking parrot? Are there any talking animals in this movie?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that are you sure?
No.
Okay. Because, all right, so here's what I'm going to do is, for me, I'm gonna hate this one and then tack on to that, if there's a talking parrot, I'm going to hate it, but Dan Howell is going to love it.
Pending review, right?
Pending, contingent upon the talking animal. So what do you think? Hating or grading?
Let's see.
Father of 12.
Father of 14 and a half in the zoo. I'm going to hate it. I'm sure
hate
I'll
it?
see it. I'm sure I might even see it in theaters on the big screen, but I think I'm going to be more interested in the popcorn.
Yeah. Do you know, is it in 3D?
It is?
Is it? I don't know. I'm asking.
Yes.
It is. Yeah. I'm not a fan of 3D.
2D is good enough.
It's distracting. Gives my wife a headache. So, all right. Well, then, last up is The 5-Year Engagement. This is a new comedy starring Jason Segel and Emily Blunt. It's directed by Nicholas Stoller, who directed Get Him to the Greek and Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and Nicholas Stoller and Jason Segel wrote it together. Basically, this is a movie that kind of charts the ups and downs of an engaged couple's relationship. So it's basically, the story is they are in a 5-year engagement.
Trying to figure out if it's going to work, which, hey.
Wackiness ensues.
Right, it gives them more intelligence than a lot of people who rush into it these days. But the one scene I cannot wait to see. Aren't you going to get dressed today? It feels like a bunny day. I cannot wait to see this movie.
Well, are you a fan of Jason Segel?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Do you think he'll be naked in this movie?
If we're lucky.
I got it! You've been Whitneyed. Oh my gosh. Jason Segel has a long history of doing nudity in his movies. And like the only movie he's ever kept his clothes on the whole time was The Muppets. I'm just saying. So anyway, what do you think? So it sounds like you're grading this.
I'm grading this.
Yeah, you think it's going to be really funny?
I'm betting on it.
Really? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Do you want to bet? Want to maybe make a wager on this?
Make it interesting.
Yeah. All right. I bet you that if you see this and you don't like it, okay? If you don't like it, then I will stay home and let you co-host with Rob one day.
Sounds like an incentive.
But now you got to be honest. You have to be honest, and if you don't like it, you have to really not like it, or you have to really like it if you really like it. So.
All right, and if I like it, Ryan's going to host in a 2-piece bikini.
No. How is that fair?
That sounds awesome.
I'll stand behind Rob the whole time, so no one can see me.
You'll be well.
I'll host over his shoulder. So, I'm gonna actually grade this one too. There's a few jokes in the commercials that are border. Makes me think that this movie could maybe be a little more raunchy for most of Cleveland's tastes, but not so over the top that it's going to just absolutely offend people. So I think I'm going to grade this one as well. I think Jason Segel is pretty funny.
Pick out some very nice flowers.
That is the end of all of the movies we've got. We actually have like 1 minute left to sort of just sit here. So I think this is a great opportunity for us to open up our paycheck and see just what we're paid to host this show. Let's see what we have. Oh, look! A $5.
Wow. That might get a gallon of gas.
You know what? I'm not, and we have to split this though. This was ours. Not mine. So I I guess lucky you, we're going out to get McDouble.
Woo!
I mean, we'll have them cut it in half, though.
Okay.
So, all right, we'll see you next week on Tennessee Valley This Morning. Have a great weekend.